Greetings, YouTube. Today I'm going to talk about Spider-Man 3. Now, I thought that the casting of Thomas Haden Church as Sandman was genius. He is the perfect actor for this character. Both physically, he has the look, the physicality. He makes me think of the character as it was originally presented in the comic, particularly when he's in that iconic striped shirt of his. But he's such a good actor. He was just so wonderful in Sideways and in Smart People. I really need to see more of his films. He's just so talented. He's going to be in John Carpenter of Mars. That should be a trip. And he brought a depth and a level of pathos to the character that I really appreciated. I thought James Franco did an excellent job of making the transition from eccentric rich guy to supervillain, you know, and that slide from just being a mid-weird to being a full-blown, I'm going to throw pumpkin bombs at people. And of course, Bruce Campbell is a joy to see on screen, no matter what he's doing. And playing an outrageous French maitre d' was right up his alley. I wonder if Peter Parker has ever noticed that the universe he lives in is populated by people that look awfully similar to each other. So, if you enjoyed Spider-Man 3, stop watching this video now. Okay, that should give you enough time to turn it off. If you haven't turned it off, then you want to listen to what I have to say. Spider-Man was a good comic book movie. Spider-Man 2 was a better comic book movie, though it did have some problems that I explained in my review of it. Spider-Man 3 is a parody of a comic book movie. Sam Raimi wanted to show the world what was stupid about comic book movies. And so he created this. That he wanted to make sure that there would never ever be a need for another parody of comic book movies, because he was going to create the greatest one that had ever been put to film. He took every single bad comic book cliche, loaded it into a machine gun, ratcheted back on that puppy, and he just opened up with that thing. And every single time there was even the slightest twitch of life in that storyline left, he would put in another belt, close it, ratchet back it some more, and just keep firing until it stopped moving. This film was horrible. I apologize. I know that one of my subscribers liked it, and I respect and like this person, and I'm feeling bad about this, but I thought this film was crap. My wife and I were openly mocking this film while we were watching it. It was just terrible. I mean, there's just so much stupid. Sandman was created by falling into an open pit in a scientific experiment? Who designed this? Mangala? I mean, these people had fewer standards of control than British Petroleum. This is probably dating myself if anyone sees this in the future. Maybe not. Franco is a bad guy. Harry Osborn's a bad guy. Then he's a good guy. Then he's a bad guy. Then he's a good guy. Then he's a dead guy. But that was stupid. He puts on armor, different from his father's for some strange reason, that doesn't cover his head. What, did he have a clause in his contract saying he couldn't cover up his hair? Peter Parker lives in this little one-room hovel that has no phone. He has a computer. You're telling me he has no internet connection? You have to have an internet connection if you're in college. Now, why isn't he living with MJ or with Aunt May? I know, because it makes more sense to have him as a story element living in this little hovel where he can interact with a nice Russian family who has a daughter that would be far better for him than MJ. Because he and that Russian girl have as much in common as he and MJ have in common. And the Russian girl's got a whole lot less baggage. Yes, she's not quite as stunning, but oh well. Is every woman he knows a model? Gwen Stacy was a throwaway character, hardly used at all. It was just stupid. Brock was a photographer instead of being this ex-jock trying to edge in on Parker's business. Whatever. But there were just so many story elements in this film that were there just to drive the characters towards this inevitable confrontations and stupid side trips. He had an emo haircut. He did a dance routine. I heard about it. I didn't believe it. I watched it and I'm just like, an intergalactic symbiote comes to Earth and it turns him into an emo douchebag. And the meteor that landed is about the size of my head. It would have left a crater the size of the Super Bowl. It would have killed our two main characters like that. Okay? And the first thing it does is go after Peter Parker. Not the nearest form of life, like a squirrel or a pigeon. Nope. It seeks out Peter Parker. Not MJ. And then it hangs around his room for a few days. Maybe he was checking to see if the feng shui was right before he decided to finally infect him. And why wasn't this thing everything it touched? There was just so much stupid in this film. I don't know where to begin or end. I'm convinced that Sam Raimi made this film so that he would be kicked off the franchise. And it seemed to have worked. This is just a horrible movie. And I know I'm going to have to watch it again someday to listen to this commentary track, because I need to see what kind of justice he had for doing it. I love Spider-Man, even today. He's a great character, even if I'm well past all the pathos and crap that he had to put up with as a teenager, and he dragged it into adulthood. He never grew up in the least. He should have joined the Avengers a long time ago. But this was a bad film, and I'm sorry for anybody that liked it. I feel bad. I don't mean to hurt your opinion or make you feel upset, but this thing was just a piece of crap.